Hey, this is Bob the Webbuilder, and today we are going to look at Odoo. One of my clients had an old WordPress website and she was getting tired of all the updates and plugin conflicts, so she wanted to switch to Odoo.
So Odoo is a suite with dozens of apps which all work seamlessly together. There's a website app, which you can extend with extra functionality like e-commerce, a blog, e-learning for your own course environment, live chat, and there's also an events module, so you can publish and sell events tickets. There's an appointments module, so you can let people book a meeting in your agenda and let them pay for that as well. And there are all kind of other apps like sales app, which is CRM, quotation and invoice app. You can even have a point of sale. So if you have a physical shop or restaurant, then you can use this app. You can do subscriptions. You can do rentals. There's also some finance apps available. Inventory management, human resources. So they have a lot of apps, and the beauty is that the first app is always for free. So if you just need a simple website, that's for free. You don't even have to pay for hosting. And if you need more functionality, you pay a fixed price of $19.90 per month, and you can get all the apps that you want. You can install every app without extra costs. So let's dive into Odoo. So this is the dashboard of my client. And as you can see, she has a number of apps already installed, like meeting rooms, so she can host online meetings. She has a calendar and appointments app. She has a contact. She has an invoicing app. Also, of course, the website app, email marketing, events, and here she can install any app she wants. As I said, without any extra cost for her. So there are a lot of apps still to be installed. So the website we have built is this one. And it features, of course, things like the calendar app. So on this page, people can set a meeting in her calendar. So that looks like this. And over here, we have the events. So this is still all demo content, but if you look at the page, then you see how it can look. So people can register, they can pay for that. So for example, in this, and they are going to a shopping cart. And that's I already put one in there the last time. So there are a lot of things you can do. So this is an invoicing. If you need an invoice, then you can set up all your credentials and your information. So there will be an invoice made. And when we click here, we go to the payment screen. So this is how it looks as a contact form as well. And of course, a shopping cart, a search function. So it's everything a website would need on first sight. So let's see how it looks in the back end. So for that, we're going to the top left corner. And when we click on this, we are getting back to the dashboard. But when we click on editor, we will be taken to the editor, of course. And then we go to the top right corner and click on edit over here. So then this side panel opens and this contains all the blocks that we can add, which also differs, of course, depending on which apps you have installed. But in my case, it looks like this. And when I click, for example, over here, then I get some settings. In this case, for the column, I can change the background, and the background has some backgrounds with the theme already. So, for example, if I choose this one, it looks like this, or it might look like this, or like this. You can also add the background image. a video or one of the shape dividers. All right, I will click that away now. I can choose which content width I want. So this is just a fixed width based on my content width, but I can also choose to have a full width or a very small width. I can choose a different height over here. I can set some visibility options, so I can hide it on desktop or on mobile. And I can set conditions, so it's visible, for example, for some countries or for some users. I didn't use this functionality on this site. And I can also over here save this block to use it anywhere else. So it is saved in the library. I can edit from here as well. So I have some custom blocks made over here, and I can just enter those in my page. So which options I have available on this panel, of course, depends on which block I click on. So for example, when I click on this image over here, then I get a lot more options. First of all, I get column options for the column that the image lives in. And I get a number of options for the image itself. So I can replace the image over here. So this is the media library from Odoo. You also have some documents. You can have icons, and you can use videos. So that's nice. And you also have some shapes you can use for the image. You have a lot of shapes available to you over here. There are also some shapes over here, and you can see how it looks just by hovering over it. So that's cool as well. Then we can set a description. We can set a title tag, which appears when you hover over the image. We can also crop the image from here. So for example, if I want to crop it like this, that is a possibility. You can also transform the picture. So you can, for example, make it like this, if that's what you like. Of course, we don't want to do that, so we just undo it right now. You can use some filters. All right, so that's nice too. And here you can choose which quality you want. So the original one that I uploaded is 800 pixels, but Odoo suggests we have a 690 pixels over here. And with this slider, we can reduce or upgrade the quality. And over here, you can see how large it is going to get. So if we just do it like this, you can see if we just move the slider a little bit, then the file size is immediately a lot smaller, but also the quality might be a bit worse. All right, so that's what you can do with the images. There's also an animation model, so you can animate some things on scroll with a number of effects. So that's a cool feature as well. And for example, when I click on this column, then I just get some column settings. And again, we have some animation options for the button in this case. And changing the text is just as easy as just clicking on it. And I can change this text immediately. But for now, let's discard these changes. And I'm going to show you how to build a new page from scratch. So for that, we are going to Site and Pages. And here we see all the pages we have on our site. And we're going to click on New. Then this pop-up opens, and you can choose from some pre-built templates to make it easier to start. As you can see, we have a number of nice templates we can choose on that are already in the colors that I defined for my theme for this website. But we are going to start with a blank page, and let's call this test. Let's not add it to the menu since it's a test page. And then this is the canvas. So first of all, you get your header and your footer, of course. And again, the building blocks we already looked at. So to get started, we just want to add one of those building blocks over here. And to make it easier for you, there are a number of templates, pre-built templates that you can choose from. Again, these are already in my theme colors. And we get a lot of choices here as well. So we have some forms over here. We have an Instagram slider and Google Maps. We have a catalog for e-commerce, a blog overview, appointments, and events. For this, we are going to use this layout to start with. And of course, again, you can just click and type. So type the text. And if you select the text, then you get some extra options. So I could make this a header 3 if I wanted to, but I can make it look like a header 1. And when I click on these 3 dots, then I get some extra options, of course, like the color. I can choose a background color or reset everything again. I can choose the alignment. I could add a link. I could translate this using AI, or I can apply a highlight for a nice effect. So those are the options you have with text in Odoo. And in this case, you can see this is a 3-column layout, and I can drag and drop to get the layouts that I would like. So for example, if I want to make this a bit smaller and this a bit larger, I can absolutely do that. Can also change the padding over here. So those are all things you can do. And of course, we can add some extra elements as well. I can add a completely new section like this. Or I can add elements to the section that I already have. For example, if I want a text element under this heading, then I can just drag it and drop it over here. And now I have a text element right here. Okay, so we have that now. That's how you do this, but you can also just click on enter, and when you add a forward slash, then you can choose from a number of things as well. So for example, if I want to have a bulleted list here, I can just add it like this. Item 1, enter for item 2, etc. Or maybe I want a 2-column layout, I can do that as well. Let's add a button to this one, for example. Let's call this like test the button. And you can see that I can choose from a few different styles. So I have a button primary, I have a button secondary, and I have a link, but I can also make it custom, so style it any way that I want. So I already mentioned the theme settings a few times, and you can find them over here. So you can basically set 3 custom colors and a light and a dark color as well. You can change to a default color palette over here. You can switch themes, you can add some languages if you want to. You can change your page layout, you can add a default background, and you can set some typography settings for like paragraphs, headings, buttons, links, input fields, and an advanced field with some extra options over here, like your Google Maps key, your head and body code. If you want, for example, to add a Google Analytics code, you can do that over here, and you can set some status colors. So those are over there. And talking about advanced customizations, if you want something more than the input panels offer, because they are not quite extensive, they are a bit limited in what you can do. But that's a bit difficult to customize because there is no way to add a custom CSS class in Odoo. You can add custom CSS, but since you can't add a custom class, that's a bit tricky. So, for example, when I go over here, so let's discard this. Oh, yeah, let's not save anything over here. And we go to site, then we have here the HTML CSS editor. And as you can see, I have added some custom CSS here, but I had to use the default classes that are on the blocks already. So for example, these are some customizations for the image, but I had to override them for some other images that should not have this customization. So if you have custom classes, like in most other builders, then it's easy to just add a class to the elements that should have this styling, but in Odoo that's a bit more difficult. You could do it because when you go to pages and you click on this little bug icon, then you get the HTML code and you can add your classes over here. But yeah, that's not a really nice way to work, of course. It would be way better if it was in the builder itself. So now you know how the website app works. Let's look at some other apps as well. For example, this events app. So here we have the events that I already created, and let's add a new one. Let's call this test event. And here we can set the duration of the event. So we can select the start. For example, let's start at 10 a.m. and let's end like 2 days later. It's a multiple day event at 5 o'clock. Okay, so now we have set the time. We can set the time zone. We can have multiple slots. We can choose in which language the event is, and of course you can choose from the languages that you installed. We can create a template, and we can set some other settings as well. We can even limit the amount of registrations to a certain number of attendees, so like 200 for this event. And then we can sell tickets. So you can sell multiple kind of tickets. So let's just create a basic ticket for this event. Okay, so this is basic tickets. And it will cost 100 euros. You can even select during which period you want to sell it. You can select how many tickets you want to sell from this, etc. So we can also do a VIP ticket. So let's create that as well. So this is the VIP ticket. We can make a description. You will get a VIP treatment with a nice dinner and free drinks. All right. And that one is more expensive. That costs 250, and we got a maximum of 20 of those to keep it exclusive. So that is cool. Then we have some communication. So we can set some email reminders over here. You can set email or you can set SMS. And you can set a interval as well. So this is 1 hour before the event starts. This is 3 days before the event starts. You can even send emails and SMSs during the event. So that is really nice. And you can also set up follow-up emails after the event ended. That's cool. So these are questions. So when people sign up for the event, you can set which information you would like to know over here. So notes and documents. So you can create badges and you can select ticket instructions. You can here set the status of the event. And there are also some things you can do over here. So this is very cool. You have a event registrations app as well. So you can just scan your tickets or you can select the attendees over here. Some reporting. And here you can set some templates and stuff like that. So now let's look at the appointments app. So I only have one kind of appointment right now. Let's add another one. And we are going to call this a paid appointment. And it has a duration of 1 hour. We create a slot every 1 hour. You can have a pre-booking time, so how long before the meeting can they book? You can set a date range. You can set if you will allow canceling and how long that has to happen before the meeting. And this one is really cool as well. You can book users, so human resources, but you can also book things like tables or rooms. So this is suitable for restaurants and hotels as well, which is something that most WordPress plugins do not provide. So that's really cool. You can have simultaneous appointments per user. And over here you can set your schedule. So when are you available? In this case, for example, Monday 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. So that means you have a break from 12 to 2 and you're not available in the weekends. You can, of course, if you want to do that as well. You can add that over here, or you can delete any of these, of course, as well. Okay, so now for the options, you can show some pictures if you want. You can set the time zone. You can set the location of the meeting, so you can choose an online meeting or you can add a physical location for this. You can have a video conference. You can use Odoo Discuss app for that, but you can also use Google Meet if you want to. You can confirm it manually, so you first can check your schedule by hand. You can set some email reminders or SMS reminders. These are some emails that you can customize as well. And you can charge a payment for it. So here we have one of the payment options. We only have one at the moment, but you can add more, of course. And you can also change things like the price. So if I want to make this like 100, I can absolutely do that. And when you have made an appointment, it will show up here in your calendar. And you can sync your calendar with your Google Calendar if that's what you like to use.
So that's it for my Odoo review. If you are looking for a software suite that will cover almost all of your company's needs, Odoo might be a great choice at even a greater price. The apps I have tried offer a lot of nice features and are really user friendly. For me as a web builder though, Odoo doesn't offer all of the things that I would like in a builder. It doesn't support custom CSS classes for easy and maintainable global styling, at least not in an easy way. And even though you can save your own patterns to a library, there's no way to sync those globally. So, for example, the testimonial slider that I showed you is on several pages. But if I get a new testimonial, I will have to edit manually on each page. So for me, Odoo isn't the best choice. But for you, it might be though. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe so you don't miss anything and see you in the next video.